Sing something.
Worthy is your name,
Mm,
Jesus.
Okay, go.
That's one thing you
All right,
never
take.
catch me do.
No, wait, you pass it here, so I meant to take it here. Sometimes, like, is that you know how they say a lion born amongst sheep? No, a sheep born amongst lions will grow up thinking he's a lion. Like, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you're not amongst sheep, you then realize, oh, I'm actually a sheep.
Yeah.
And
I've had one of those where like it was like, you know, he's not a bad person.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
And you're welcome back to yet another episode on Backed by the Word. And I remain your favorite host. You already know the boy, Dumaje Francis. And with me here today, I've got...
Idys Archibong.
And I love that intro. Idys Archibong. Well, it's great to have you here today, Idys. So great to have you here today.
Thank you.
And I think one thing I want to point out before we start was we had a battle on who was making this video look good.
It's obviously me.
We had a battle on who was making this video look good, and I strongly believe it was me.
No.
Right? No, I'll explain why.
Because
Because
I'm the one making the video look good. That's basically all I have to say. I'm the one making the video look good, period.
Because while we were setting this up, see, let me first tell you people.
Is this on YouTube?
Huh?
Is this on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, please comment who made the video look good. Because we have to settle this. Please.
But before you comment, let me tell you people what I went through today in these people's hands, right? First of all, lighting, good. I hope you all love this, right? But I couldn't wear my glasses, as you all can see, because the light, I noticed that the light reflects in my eyes when we record. So I was like, these people are trying to spoil my drip. But still.
Sunglasses.
No, not sunglasses, though.
Okay.
But they're tinted blue.
Okay.
You saw them now. You were looking at them when I walked in.
I
Okay,
was?
you actually walked in because I was here. But anyways, it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Right?
It's great
And
to
thanks
be
for adding
here.
some color to the room,
And
which are
beauty
colored
and
up.
spice.
Yeah, which are colored
You're
up as well.
welcome.
But today we're gonna be focusing a lot on the lady beside me, the beautiful lady beside me, talking about what she does for the gospel, because you do a lot for the gospel from what I see. Right? So what do you actually do? Like, what would you say your content is about?
Well, I produce faith-based content. So I talk a lot about my faith, I talk a lot about my growth, my journey. And I think specifically I'm speaking to people who also need that, who need to grow or who need advice, or like who my words can help understand God better and understand their walk with God better in order for them to grow in their journey. So I think that's my passion, and that's basically what I produce content for.
I think one thing that has always been on my mind. So you see, would you say you are a Christian influencer or an influencer who is a Christian?
Please, I don't think I feel like people are finicky
nah.
about this word. Oh, I don't like the word content creator. I don't like the word influencer. I am what I am. I am a Christian content creator. I'm a content creator who's also a Christian. I'm an influencer. I'm like, whatever it is, like it is what
Collaborate.
it is. It's actually, it is what it is. I'm not really finicky about like titles and yeah, like.
Do you know the first time I heard that word finicky, I thought it was a Yoruba word. No. I know it's a word now, but I thought it just sounds so
Finicky?
Yeah, that it sounds like Yoruba.
It does?
Finicky.
Okay.
I mean,
when you say it like that,
like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
So I thought it was, but yeah.
Okay, I get
Yeah, you're not finicky about it. I'm not finicky about it as well. I'm a Christian who is an influencer.
Who is a content creator?
Who is a content creator?
Yeah.
And then I'm a Christian content creator.
Yeah.
All join, I mean.
All join. Really? What's the difference?
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So now, speaking about your content, I think before we go into your brand, I'd like to know a bit more about yourself and your faith. So, like, how did you come into the faith, right? Like, were you born into the faith, right? And had you always been consistent? Did you ever fall out? You know, just to understand how it was before you started telling us on camera, please attend a bootcamp.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a Christian household. I guess I've always been Christian. But my personal faith walk started in, I don't know. how to say specifically, because there were times where I felt so much conviction in my heart and I prayed to God and I felt the Holy Spirit, for example. But it was more rare in like secondary school, when like
Mm.
one teacher would come, like that teacher that goes to church every day would come
Hey,
and, you know, give a speech to the class and you just feel it in your heart. I remember specifically I started being part of the choir for like, if
Eddie,
that,
you can sing.
maybe that term. No, I was a child. Everybody can sing as a
So
child.
what choir were you? Oh, okay, okay, true.
Secondary school
I
choir.
used to, I could sing when I was a child as well.
Exactly. So our voices were
I
not
just
chorus.
sing something, sing something.
Worthy is your name, Jesus.
Mm-mm. Okay, go on, go on. I'm loving this.
So I think how do I put this? My conscious decision to take a journey with Jesus Christ started from uni, because I went to a Christian university, and I think it made it easy for me to kind of tune into that, because there was just always like a
Mm,
fellowship. I was in a service unit. There were like 500 service units.
mm.
There was always,
500.
well, I'm exaggerating, but there were a lot, and there
I mean,
were
I know there's a lot of work to do for God, but I'm just like 500.
maybe a little
Mm,
exaggeration, but there was like just a lot of, even like without the school organizing those services,
yeah,
there were students who were zealous enough to
yeah.
hold meetings like that on the side. So
Mm,
there was always something. There's no reason, like if you actually wanted your heart to be there, there's
mm,
no way that you will not be able to plug in. And I think that's
mm.
where my journey started.
I think you give protocol vibes.
Yeah.
Were you
No,
part of
no,
protocol in
in
your school?
school, no.
Or you were not? So
I was
what
part of reflections. I was part of the dance
reflections?
unit,
Dance.
reflecting God's image through dance.
Through dance. Okay, now so you sang the other time. Let's see one or two. Like
Uh,
okay, let me pass chorus.
that's one thing
All
you
right, take.
never catch me do.
Eh, eh. Oh, no, wait, you pass it here, so I'm meant to take it here. You guys don't judge me. I used to dance when I was in secondary school.
You did?
I was part of one group called Extreme X, but please nobody should ask me any question about it. Well, that's good. The conscious decision was then in
In uni.
university.
Yeah.
So what brought you to that point? Like, was there something that happened? Because I just feel like growing up as children, a lot of us were maybe forced into
Mm,
like the faith.
yeah.
So were you a victim of that? Like maybe being forced into the faith and you just found yourself doing it and you were like, I mean, I might as well if it takes me to heaven. Like, what was it like for you?
I didn't feel forced into the faith
Mm,
because it was all I knew.
mm,
So I just thought, I mean, obviously we're all here because God created the earth. And so at that time, obviously, I thought, um, do anything bad, you go to
mm,
hell. So you have to like pray every night before you sleep.
mm.
But yeah,
Pray every night
there
before
was
you
a
sleep.
time that I was really scared of hell, but
Mm.
I never felt like I was forced into the faith. I just felt like this is life, this is
This is
natural.
life.
Yeah. And I think what made me to make that conscious decision is that I feel like the world was presented in a different way to me. It felt
Mm,
real. It didn't just feel like, I don't know. I think the church I used to go to before, I didn't really encounter the word.
mm.
And this time it just felt really real and
Real.
tangible to me. Something I could actually plug into, and God
Yeah.
felt more like someone I could have a relationship with.
Mm,
So I think that was what was different with that.
mm.
Yeah.
So would you say it's because you were part of the service as opposed to just being told? Because I feel growing up as children, we're told this is who God is,
Yeah.
this is how to serve God,
Yeah.
but we don't necessarily get the practical experience of actually serving God.
Yeah.
So would you say it was that practical experience, being part of reflections, even if your own was dance?
Why do you always say dance?
I'm not
Dance
David
saves
dance now.
people. Exactly. Well, I think it was seeing that there were people who were my age range that were doing this. Is not just something that
Mm,
you have to wait till like you're 50
mm,
or 60 to start taking God seriously.
mm,
It felt more real because it felt like something that I could also do
mm,
as a young person. Like I
mm.
saw a lot of people who were on fire for Jesus and they were
Yeah.
young and praying in tongues. And I even
Mm-hmm.
used to, like, I thought that lifting your hands up and dancing in church was an old person thing to do. So
Mm,
even when I started like being more involved with
mm-hmm.
Christ, I thought it was a bold thing to like lift my
Mm,
hands up to worship. And I
yeah.
saw like some people around me who do that.
Who did
And
it
I was
as
like,
well?
okay, this is something that can be personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you would say for you it was the community,
Yeah.
right? It was a community
Yeah.
scene, which is very good, very true.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like, is that you know how they say a lion born amongst ships? No, a sheep born amongst lions will grow up thinking he's a lion. Like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you're now amongst ships, you then realize, oh, I'm actually a ship.
Yeah.
And oh, that's really good. Well done.
Thank
Well
you.
done. Reflections, wasn't it? Dancing.
Yeah. Reflections dance
Mm,
ministry. We were very
dance
important and
ministry. Okay, let's put the
instrumental.
ministry there.
Yeah, to the chaplaincy. So yeah.
No, that's good. So were there things that gave you FOMO after you then found Christ? I mean, I know yours was a conscious decision, but was there anything that maybe you had the fear of missing out? Anything that you felt like, oh, I can't do this anymore? What gave you FOMO after you found Christ?
Um Now that I even think about it. Well, first of all, I grew up in a strict household. I was always inside, anywhere I go,
Mm,
like my parents had to go with me or like go and check that there's
mm,
an adult there. So I
mm,
was pretty protected from the world.
mm,
Went to boarding school, from boarding school went to like a Christian university, which was almost the same thing. So
mm,
there was nothing to miss for me. I think the only thing would be, now I realized that I had to hand over all forms of relationships to God. So
mm,
I cannot just be, just like liking anybody or saying, "Oh
mm.
yeah, he's cute" or whatever.
But I
We can
mean, if
kick
it
it.
is, it is, isn't
Exactly. But like,
it?
it's like now I have to say yes to anyone God says yes to, and no to people that God, even though I like. So it was like,
Mm,
I can't just decide to just, I have to now. If I see anyone on the
mm,
street or like anywhere that is conventionally attractive, my mind is just
mm.
blocked off to them, because I'm like, he's probably not a Christian.
That's a very political term. Just say attractive. She said conventionally attractive.
Conventionally attractive because, like, I don't know,
Nah, I
there's a
get. I mean, within
standard.
context, yeah,
Yeah, there's a world standard of beauty,
of beauty,
but then also
that's
beauty
not.
is subjective, can be subjective. So
Yeah, because I think growing up, before I came into the faith, to actually understand that people were fearfully and wonderfully made. I'll
well,
see
yeah.
some people and say, "Oh my, oh my God!" But that was then.
Yeah.
Now I see beauty. The beauty is from within.
Yeah. So I grew up in a Christian household, and I
Mm,
also had really strict parents. So um they would always, I would always have to tell them wherever I'm going to.
mhm,
They could always tell me no.
mhm,
If I was to go anywhere where, like, there are friends around, they would come in, check if there's an adult. Like, I was pretty much shielded from the
mm,
world the whole time. So there was not really much to miss. Like, there was
mm,
no difference from, I wasn't a rebellious child. So there was nothing
mhm,
too much to look back on. But I think one thing that I had to take a step to think about was my relationships, particularly romantic relationships. Not that I've had like thousands, but I've had the
mm.
opportunity to have some romantic
Yeah, maybe have like
relationships.
500, 800. I mean, that's not 1,000.
DJ, please,
No, I'm just trying to give it a figure for context.
for
Like,
context,
yeah, like 500,
I've had the opportunity to have a
a
couple,
couple, a few, not too much.
but like I had to take a step back and be like,
Yeah.
even if I like this guy, I know God doesn't want this person for me.
Hmm.
So I would say maybe that's the point where I'll be like, ah,
Hmm.
why am I not just a wayward child?
I just
But
get what you want. Yeah.
exactly. But then I realized that every time, when God says something, it's
Yeah.
for my good.
That's
And
very
I'm
good.
so glad that I
That you listen.
like the things that God wants for us sometimes hurt us in the moment.
Hmm.
But like the what we reap is 1,000 times more
Hmm.
beneficial,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, whatever God tells us not to do is protecting us from something more,
Yeah.
horrible in the
Yeah.
future or in the nearest
Have you
future.
had an experience where you did what he didn't want you to do?
Yes.
Uh,
I've had one of those where like it was like, he's not a bad person.
he can
And he
change.
wasn't. He wasn't a bad person. He was a church boy. So it wasn't a
They
bad
said
thing.
church boys are the worst. Yeah. I'm the
Apparently.
only church boy now that is good
Yeah,
out there.
I feel like I can count you guys on one of my hands.
I
But
said
like
I'm the only one. Who's you guys?
But yeah, I feel like that church boys are the worst. I don't think so. I
Mm,
think horrible people are everywhere. I think it's just
mm.
because you don't expect it. You expect church
I,
boys to be church
that's it. I
boys.
think it hits harder because
Yeah,
ah,
exactly. You're like, ah,
he led prayer.
Timmy from choir is
Ah,
the one doing me dirty like this.
Brother Benham.
Exactly. Exactly. So you're shocked, but really they
Mm,
are everywhere and the church is a hospital after all.
mm,
But I've had cases where like even though this person was not a bad person, they were not
mm.
just the person for me. But
Yeah,
I went ahead, I was like, I'm gonna see for myself. And I
yeah.
did see for myself. So now now
If
eh,
you do what they did, you see what they saw.
exactly. So now there's no more see like I learned that the hard way. So yeah,
Mm,
I've realized that like anything that God
mm.
wants for me is for my best.
Well, thank God you're standing strong now. It must have been difficult. Don't mind me. Anyways, so we'll go into your brand now. Yeah, specifically. I think more of anything, I think starting out your brand, how did you decide? What made you decide, okay, I'm going to be a Christian content creator? Or were you like a content creator and then you decided to start doing Christian content? Or like what was the history behind it?
I wouldn't say I was a content creator, but I was one of those
But you were
cute
dancing
girls
now.
on Instagram.
I say cute too.
Those ones that would like come and post a picture once every month,
Uh-uh.
and everybody and all her friends would be in the
And then
comments
all of
saying,
us will
"Oh
now
my
start posting
gosh!"
like.
Exactly. So
Mm,
yeah, and I think after uni when I had just started attending because I go to this church, Celebration Church,
mm,
and I think that's where my faith journey kind of skyrocketed
mm-hmm,
because there was so much knowledge that came from that, from
mm-hmm,
really understanding the word,
mm,
really knowing a lot of things. So when I started was in COVID. I
mm,
started attending Celebration Church 2019 towards the end
mm,
after uni. And then COVID hit the next year. And I had to because I was serving in Abuja at the time. So I had to travel back
mm,
to my hometown, Akwa State, because of COVID.
mm,
And I was just
mm-hmm,
I was just doing a lot of listening to sermons. So all the church sermons that I could get my hands on, I was
mm,
listening back to back every single day,
mm-hmm,
sometimes more than one in a day. So like I was consuming
mm,
a lot, I was also praying a lot, and there was just I was also fasting a lot in that period as well. Like I was at
mm,
home
mm.
and you know how an idle man is the devil's workshop.
Yeah,
For me, it was the opposite because I was just allowing myself to be fed by the right things.
yeah,
And yeah, I just needed people to also experience this, to hear what I
mm,
was hearing. Because I felt like there were so many things I was learning for the first time. And I'm just like, why don't we all know this? Why don't we
yeah,
all understand this? So that was just like the passion in me. I think I just wanted, at first, I thought it was like a book
mm,
I was going to write. But I was like, why wait for months to write a book when I could just
mm.
spill the tea
Spill the
little by
tea.
little
Yeah,
on a regular basis. So
yeah. Wrote something recently. Was it like a devotional or
yeah,
was it
yeah,
like a
it's
guide?
a Bible study. It's a book on Bible study. It's
Yeah.
called Bible Study for Rookies.
Oh wow.
BibleStudyForRookies.com.
Yeah, Bible study for rookies. Like
Dot com.
myself, yeah.
So I was consuming a lot, and then I just decided to pick up a camera and create my first piece of content. When I created that video, like when I filmed it was on Salvation. When I filmed that video, I was so nervous because nobody knew me as this really like we all knew we were
Mm,
Christian, but like
yeah.
nobody knew me as that person, that
That
preacher
person that will
girl.
carry camera.
I was not a preacher,
Mm,
so like I was so nervous what people would think, what they would say, like and yeah, but I just posted it anyway. I
mm.
posted it, I deleted Instagram, I turned off my
You didn't
phone.
want to say
I didn't want to see anything.
if I perish, I perish.
God, honestly, I was so like my heart was beating out of my chest.
Mm,
And when I took my phone back the next day to pick,
mm.
I saw that
It blew up.
it didn't blow up actually,
Mm,
but it was people were receptive to it. So I
mm,
was like, okay, this is something I want to actually keep doing. So I'm going to keep doing it.
mm,
And so I did. And so what I did was I decided to post consistently, post Christian content for the next 30 days consistently because there was just so much
mm,
that I wanted to release. So that's what I did. And
mm,
that's where it started.
mm.
Yeah.
So what would you say was fueling that fear within you?
fear.
Yeah.
It was people's opinions of me,
Mm.
like what I thought people would think of me.
Mm.
Um,
You'll be like, she does too much.
yeah,
Oh.
she's doing too. Like I even heard that someone said that about me, like
Mm.
someone that knew, like, is it not okay? Like,
Uh,
because it's nice when you virtue signal and you just post one or two things once in
mm.
a while, but like when you're going at it, it's like, okay, so do you not want to turn into a pastor? So
Mm.
yeah, there was
Which is
that.
not a problem if you do,
Actually,
Yeah.
actually, also I don't think at that time it was mainstream.
Yeah.
I feel
I was
like,
gonna say that as well. It
yeah,
wasn't. Not everyone had picked
yeah,
up a
yeah,
camera
yeah,
just yet.
exactly.
Pioneer, come on, put it there.
But yeah, I don't think I had so many people to be like, oh yeah, this person is doing this and it's so cool. So like I can definitely do it as well.
Mm.
So that was like, it was like a who do you think you are type
Mm.
mentality that I had. And
Mm.
yeah, those were all the things that made me scared. And also like, is my video nice? Like are people going
Mm.
to watch it? Or
Watch
like,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So there was all of that at the same time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's good to hear because when you say that, you find that like just by you starting, I'm sure that there are people who were spurred to start their own content as well, like
Mm.
from seeing yours. I think it shows the importance of what we do, if you
Yeah.
get, because it encourages people to do it.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned to you stage, not stage. Well, we seen behind
BTS behind the scenes.
BTS. You get me?
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
don't get
yeah.
it. Anyways, like about like how obviously I did come to you before I started my own brand and got some nuggets from you, yeah, which have really helped. Like, and that's really good. Well done, ID. Well
Thank
done,
you. Well
ID.
done to you.
Well done to me. Well done to me. Did you hear that? Now, thank you for that. I think my next question to you would be, how then do you? Because you spoke about what people would say about you,
Mhm.
right? Now, apart from what they would say, is she doing too much? I think that's the part of them speaking based on what you're doing,
Yeah.
right? So I think what I'm bothered about is what do you feel? So how do you balance people's expectations of yourself with your brand? So it's like there's an image we expect to see. Okay, now she wants to do content creation, no problem. Let's see her keep up with
Yeah.
it. So like, what expectations do you think people actually have of you, and how do you now draw a balance to it?
Well, personally, I am a Christian content creator, so
Mm.
I know people think that I am perfect or I'm
Oh,
always
you're not.
no.
Ah, well, let's begin.
Apparently,
What are you doing here now?
apparently not.
What are you doing here?
Like people think I'm always on
No,
one
wait,
heel
wait,
somewhere.
Ivy, wait. You're not. You're
No.
not perfect.
Yes, I'm an imposter.
Ah,
Oopsie.
did you read the outline before you came here?
Yes.
And you still came?
Yes.
And you're not perfect?
No, I'm
Ah,
not.
oh, God. Let's go on, Sha. Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, but yeah, there's that expectation that I'm this person who like has a direct line to,
Mm,
well, we all have direct lines to Jesus Christ, but
mm.
like basically I'm more
Yeah,
better than everybody in that
yeah.
aspect. And
You don't have your struggles and all of that.
exactly, exactly. And personally, I think one thing I've recognized is that as much as I'm by God's grace privileged to help people in their walk with God, I
Mm-hmm,
also have my own journey.
mm-hmm.
So God is still teaching me a lot of
A
things.
lot of
There are
things.
things He's still taking me through. There are things
Yeah.
He still has to put. So it's not like I've received the certificate and I'm now high up there helping
Mm-hmm,
everybody. Like
mm-hmm,
as much as other people are going through their journey, I'm going through my journey as
mm-hmm.
well. And I'm just privileged to be able to have a way that I speak and have a way that I teach to be able
Yeah.
to give people that
Mm-hmm,
knowledge as well. Because there are people who are my senior brothers and sisters in the faith that don't just make social media content,
mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean that I'm better than them because
Yeah.
I'm talking out loud about my
Mm-hmm. We
experiences
all
with
have different ministries, isn't it? Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So I think it's just recognizing that I also have my walk with God
Mm,
and, not allowing their view of me to impact me. Because at the end of the day, if I do,
mm,
then I won't be able to share my struggles and that won't be
mm.
able to bless them.
Yeah,
Because
you can't get performative, isn't it?
exactly,
Yeah.
so I'm going to want to put up with this view of me that is just like, oh, ID doesn't do this, ID doesn't say that, ID would never go
Mm,
through this. But like if I'm not able to share those struggles and how God brought me out of it, then you're
mm.
not not going to be blessed.
Yeah.
And this is just going to be a facade and a performance.
Yeah.
And so I just have to always level myself and remember that, like, look, we're all going through this journey
I am who I am.
exactly. Exactly.
Well, I mean, when you then speak about that, I think I'm a bit cautious about. So I know that, say for me, for example, I believe that the expectations some people have of me kind of keeps me accountable to not doing certain things. So, like, say for example, there are certain conversations I wouldn't have, right?
Yeah.
Now, not because I don't find it funny. Like now, there are some jokes I don't laugh at.
Yeah.
Do you get? And that's one thing that my walk with Christ has taught me, where like you can be a member by just that, just common association of
Yeah.
things. Like one time I was standing with a group of people and I had a nudge in my spirit where the Holy Spirit asked me, "What are you doing there?" And then in my head I was like, I'm not saying anything. I'm just standing because it was like I was with a friend, and then other people joined, and now I didn't know these people. I only knew one person there, so just how far, how you doing? And then you know when every lady walks past, then they start making comments about the ladies. Now it's not really funny, but you're laughing because you don't want to be the only one not laughing,
Yeah.
right? And I felt that nudge saying, "What are you doing there?" So the next day I was meditating, and the Holy Spirit said to me again, "So if I tell you to go preach to these people, going to take your word when they've seen you laugh at the same jokes." Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
now it's like because of ministry, there are certain places I don't want to be found. There are certain
Exactly.
conversations I don't want to be in. You know, so I feel like, you know, so how do you then draw a balance to not paying attention to these comments so that it doesn't affect you, or maybe the negative comments, but some of them might be constructive, if you get what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah.
How do you then draw a balance to like keep yourself accountable? Since you said you're not perfect. You said you're not perfect.
Unfortunately, I think that in itself is the balance, is
Mm,
knowing that, you know, we wear Christ boldly on our chest, like everywhere
mm,
we go, like we have to act like who we are, but at the same time we have to recognize that it is by the grace of God that we are who we are.
yeah.
So because there's the extreme of like Christians, you know, glorifying certain people and
Mm-hmm.
certain things that they think they see based on social
Mm-hmm.
media. And then there's the aspect of, okay, wherever I go, like it must be palpable
Mm,
that I am on fire for Jesus.
yeah.
So yeah, there's that in itself is the balance, I guess.
Mm.
Is yeah.
So God brings the balance.
Yeah.
Jesus is the balance.
Jesus is the balance.
Standing on him.
Exactly.
Well, that's good to hear. So, what advice would you give to someone starting out their own brand today?
Who I would say the most important, well, what type of brand? Do you mean like a Christian creative brand or a brand in
Mm.
general?
So let me take it again,
Mm.
right? I think this time I'll take it from a different perspective.
Okay.
So, what advice did you get before you started? Like, did you get counsel? Because you know, counsel is very important when
Yeah.
did you get counsel from anywhere? Was there any advice that stood out for you?
Yeah.
And then we'll then go into maybe what advice you have for anyone going into the same field. You know, not necessarily the same niche as to your target audience, but the same, you know, Christian content creation.
Okay, so personally the advice I got, I think it was good for me to recognize that I am not representing myself.
Hmm.
I am representing God.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to represent him accurately, because I speak a lot about Christian concepts.
Hmm.
I speak a lot about things from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to interpret it in a way that feels good to me. I
Hmm.
want to interpret it in a way that is accurate and speaks
Accurate.
true to the text,
Beautiful.
because that would determine whether people are blessed or if they
Mhm.
are just merely inspired.
Yeah.
And so I think it was just always having people around, like my pastors. Some
Hmm.
of the videos that I'm not so sure of, I can send it to them and be like, what do you think
What do
about
you
this? Did
think
I
about
say
this?
this in the
Hmm.
right way? Should I rephrase this? Or
Hmm.
like, you know, should I even put this out at all?
Hmm.
And there are a lot of videos that didn't make it
Hmm.
to my social media because they were screened behind the scenes.
Hmm.
So I think it's just recognizing that we all are going to give an account.
Give an
I
account.
think that's the most important thing that has guided my journey as a social media Christian creative. I think the second thing that has really guided me, or the second most important counsel I've got, I think this is actually the most important for me, is
Hmm.
is it Matthew 27?
Hmm.
you shall love the Lord with all your heart and all your soul and all your might.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times ministry can steal our affection.
Yeah.
I think it's very easy for ministry to steal our affection. And I think it's also very easy, especially in a social media landscape where it's easy to go from like 0 to 1,000.
Yeah.
It's easy for the enemy to take that and
You
grab
know.
the attention of our hearts and our souls and our minds.
Mm,
And I think it has been very important for me to always like go on retreats, always fast, always ensure that my mind, my attention, and my affection is on the right
mm,
thing, not the numbers. And
mm,
like everything that I do, I put my motive before God,
mm-hmm.
but also I ensure that it's not first of all about the ministries, first
Mm-hmm.
of all about
About God.
Jesus and ensuring that he has my heart and has my
Mm,
soul. Like above everything that I have been called to, I have been called to love the Lord. And so that's the best way to guard ourselves against the deceitfulness of the
mm,
enemy, because he can take what is good
yeah.
and turn
I
it
need
into a
to.
rat race and turn
Mm-hmm.
it into something bad.
Mm,
So yeah, I think that's another thing that has guided my journey as a Christian
mm,
creative. um Advice for people doing this, I would say that I think create content not as though you are creating for your immediate community, but as though you are competing with everyone in the world.
mm,
I think that is going to make your content 100% more
mm,
excellent. And, even though we're in a world where what you're saying might be valuable, what you're doing might be important for people, but
mm-hmm.
we're in a world where people take that are like people take things for face value. Like
Mm,
people judge a book by its cover,
yeah.
basically. And so you have to ensure that you stand out, you have to ensure that you're excellent. So
Yeah.
if you're creating content and you are creating as if you're creating for people who already know you, or creating for people who are in your church, maybe saying things like mentioning, for an example, a pastor's name, and it's only your church community that knows, you've
That no.
automatically excluded a lot of people from what
Yeah.
you are saying at that
Mm-hmm.
point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So create like you're creating for the entire world,
Mm,
because inadvertently you are.
mm.
Yeah, I think that also guides how we go about the quality of the things
Of the
that we
work that we put
create,
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
of the work that we put out. And so yeah, I think that's one advice I'd give.
Oh, well, that's actually a great advice. I think it points us to the fact that, say you want to win souls for Christ, that's not only going to happen in your church. Do you
Exactly.
understand? It's not going to
Exactly.
happen only in your
You're
church.
the light of the world, not the church.
So you're speaking on the body of Christ and not a sect of the
Mm-hmm.
body of Christ.
Exactly.
So that's really great advice. Thank you. I'll take that advice myself.
You're welcome.
I'll take that advice myself. And I mean, I think like you did mention, is a service to God before man.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm very cautious about in life is a good idea can end up being a bad idea, whereby you can love something rightly and end
Mm.
up loving it badly.
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
understand?
Yeah.
So once upon a time, this could be your ministry,
Mm-hmm.
and tomorrow it could be your idol,
Yeah, yeah,
where it's now
exactly.
taking the place of God in your life.
Exactly.
You're no longer praying as much as you should because
Exactly.
you're spending more time recording. But it's like you need to understand that even God can tell you to stop.
Exactly.
Like God,
And
like
your identity could be so
could be.
immersed in it
Do you
that it will be
understand?
hard for you to let it go.
So even like there's someone, I don't want to mention his name, right? He's a big artist. I've said it to him before, where when I see him in church and I see him serve, I ask myself, is this the same person standing on the stage? A
Yeah.
stage of thousands of people
Mm.
going on tours all around the world.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that humility stems from within,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people get big and maybe stop going to church because, oh, too many questions. They start
Yeah.
saying, or can you follow me on Instagram? Can you do
Yeah.
this?
Oh,
Can you do that? I
so
mean, build your
annoying.
boundaries if you must,
Yeah.
but like still serve. Don't think, oh, I'm a content creator, so I shouldn't be a protocol member
Yeah.
in my church. Still serve in your church. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many places to serve, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in our secular world, a lot of people have their main jobs, still have part-time jobs. They do different things. So you cannot now say, because I'm a banker, I can't be a chef. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But that's really great advice. I'll tell
Mm-hmm.
you one advice. I don't know if you remember, but before I started this, when I reached out to you, one advice that you gave me that stuck, right? And I just want to say, I want to share it for the purpose of this episode, just to give an advice to anyone starting. And
Mm-hmm.
what you told me was, do you remember when I sent you the picture I wanted to use for my cover?
Yeah.
I wish I could show that picture here. But anyways, like I showed it to people. People gave different opinions. They were like, okay, yes, at least it looks really chill, you know. And I think what I was going for was just so that it's inviting to people. Do you get,
Yeah.
like, people see it and they see, okay, it's not another church. Do you
Yeah.
understand? But I think looking back, I feel like that was somewhat an identity crisis for me,
Mm,
where it's like I wanted to identify by the faith. At the same time, I wanted to identify as relatable to the world,
I
as
see.
opposed to like what is the true concept of this.
Yeah.
So that kind of blurred my vision
Yeah.
on what the artwork should have been.
Yeah.
But if you remember, you then told me that I need to focus on my branding, because the amount of branding I put in would also help people trust the source of the content. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Because it looked really like
I stop now. She's like,
it's better. It's so beautiful. Your branding is so beautiful now. But like the
thank you.
draft,
Okay, okay.
it
Feel
was.
free to share what the draft was like. Because I was like, can you imagine?
I know. It wasn't. It wasn't.
It
Yeah.
wasn't giving what it was meant to
Yeah.
give,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But now it's giving what it's meant to give,
It's
right?
giving.
But it was really good, and I think even through that process, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of my covers I do them myself now,
Yeah.
and that's because I was dependent on people to do this for me. But it was like I had the vision, so either of two things. Maybe I wasn't communicating well, so maybe my bad on that one.
Yeah.
Or but like sometimes I see what they give me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
is this what you want me to put on this
And that
podcast? You
happens a
know.
lot. That happens
Like,
a lot.
so do you have any struggles in your production? Like, you know, maybe working with people, or
Yeah.
what struggles do you have?
Definitely working with people. I think being a content creator that's not a millionaire is a struggle on itself, because it's
Exactly.
not easy to be a content creator that's not yet profitable enough to actually go all in hiring,
Mm-hmm.
because we have to still juggle. Like, you have to, this has to be a side thing,
Mm.
but the process of content creation a lot is in already on its own is a lot.
There's a
It's
lot,
like a
yeah.
full-time job, so it's not possible for it to be a side thing,
Mm.
so you now have to try and get people to help, but
Yeah.
then because it's not a full-time thing, you kind of have to like try and get like
Yeah. Bet down on the
affordable
price and
labor.
everything.
Yeah,
Explaining, you do an essay and explain to somebody why you
exactly.
cannot pay them what they deserve.
And it's hard because
Mm.
like you literally you you get people who say, they
Do you
can do
understand?
this, they
Yeah.
can do that, but at the end of the day, you're just like, and like you
I
look
thought
at
you
people who
said,
can actually deliver, but their
yeah.
prices are in the sky.
Mm.
The sky is just the starting point.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just like, this is so
Mm.
hard,
Yeah.
and like I can't wait to get to the point where I can actually.
Where you can actually just afford it. But do you know the funny thing? I feel like even when you can afford it, because I think what some people lack is the vision.
Yeah.
Like I've had people tell me, I see the vision, I love it, and I want to be a part of it. But either their actions or their delivery does not show that they believe in this vision
Yeah.
and want to be a part of this vision. So
Yeah.
maybe the delivery is late, and I'm like, how do you want to be a part of this
Yeah.
if you're delivering late? Or what they're giving is not,
Yeah.
you're explaining like 10 times that
Yeah.
this thing is
Ooh.
not.
I wish I could show you the first cover of the book that I just wrote.
Yeah.
Like I had to change designers because
Yeah.
the first person like sent me something. I was like, did you scribble this? Like
Yeah.
when we were having discussion before, and you were like, is this what you want me to use? Like I could relate to that so, because I'm like, yo, you call
How
yourself
now?
a professional designer and you're giving me, even
Yeah.
me on Canva, I can do something better than this. And
Mm.
I'm not even exaggerating. I'll show you.
Mm.
It's so, I feel like people just lack the ability to be truthful, because tell me you cannot do it.
Then
Tell
you
me you
cannot do it.
cannot do it.
But at the end of the day, I think everyone has their own niche. But I
Yeah.
think it's like a lot of people trying to take, even maybe like, when you're trying to, hey, how do they say this in now? Is it chew more than you can swallow?
Bite
More
more
than you
than
can
you can
swallow.
chew.
So what happens to swallow?
No, it's bite more than you can chew.
So they don't swallow it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think it's bite more than you can chew, right?
I've been misbehaving on this
Yeah.
podcast. You people should forgive me. My English is good. My English is good. It's just that sometimes some of these sayings. But let's leave it there. So they're trying to bite more
Yeah,
than they
yeah,
can
yeah.
chew.
They're trying to get
Are you
you
sure
to
that's what it
trust
is?
them. Yeah, I'm so sure. Comment down below if I'm
Please,
right.
like, actually comment below if it is, because
It's bite more
bite
than
more
you
than you
can.
can
I
chew.
know
So it's
English.
not chew more than
It
you can
was my
swallow. But
highest score
but it
in
makes sense.
WAEC.
But do you people get what I mean? It makes sense to say chew more than you can swallow.
Why? Have you ever?
Like
Does
when you
that
fill your
sound?
mouth, when you fill your mouth,
It makes
yeah.
sense, but does that sound
When you fill your
familiar?
mouth, can you swallow? Okay, no. When you now fill your
Exactly.
mouth, like you cannot chew as much as what you put in your mouth. Correct.
I know English. English is
They're trying to take a lot,
yeah.
and they don't. So it's like overpromise and underdeliver.
Yeah, or
Do
just
you,
say like this is not something that I
this is
can
not
do.
your
This is not my
niche. Do you
style.
understand? And I
Exactly.
appreciate the honesty. I've had someone who I worked with who wasn't giving what I'd expected, but I appreciated the honesty where he came out and said, I think, because it was like at the start he did mention
Mhm.
that he can do it, right? Although it's not something he has done. But at the point where he saw he wasn't delivering, he said,
Yeah.
okay, I don't think I understand this picture
Yeah.
well. I think I'll need to step down
Yeah.
because I don't want to underdeliver and
Yeah.
make this suffer.
Yeah.
And I mean, I appreciated it. Like, no hard feelings. And
Yeah.
God will always provide. He'll
Yeah.
provide, He'll bring men, He'll raise men. And if men
Exactly.
will not do it, He'll give me stones.
Yeah. It's so hard to be honest because
Mm,
like I've worked with people where I'm asking you to do something, but then I have to. I don't know if it's
mm,
just me being a micromanager or too particular,
mm,
but then I now have to do the thing that I
mm,
asked you to do. So why have I
mm.
now wasted money?
But I think sometimes we should also take accountability for that micromanaging part. I think sometimes maybe we do too much because I
Yeah,
feel if we're always on people's necks, it
yeah,
reduces the amount of creativity that can come up. Because for some people they're a bit too tensed.
mm-hmm.
They don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Mm,
But I think that also comes hand in hand with trust. Like,
mm,
you've been a project in your hand. Be
mm,
proactive enough to say, I will deliver by this time so that I'm not
mm.
checking, oh, are you done?
Oh yeah, like are
How's
you
it
doing what?
going? Like, this
As if
is
all of us are going through the same thing. Please, if you're a
exactly.
content creator and you go through the same thing, please let us know because I thought I was the only one. Oh.
Exactly. So tell me, like, when? Like, don't wait for me to ask you because then it's
Mm.
not going to be like I'm on your back.
Or you tell me you have an issue,
Yeah,
and I think you're still having the issue, but then I reach out to you and I'm like, any luck? And you're like, oh yeah, you sorted it out yesterday, and I'm like, yesterday, this is a new day,
exactly.
and I didn't know.
Exactly. Or if at all, like no one is saying like you need to die otherwise, like if you don't deliver on that day. But
Mm.
like if there's an issue,
Communication.
like yeah, so I trust
Mm.
you. So I can leave it in your hands. Like
Mm.
I can see that you've got this.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, like this is not just a multinational organization
Mm.
that I happen to be part of. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is my baby. This is something I
Yeah,
hold close to my hands.
exactly.
You have to show me that I can
That
trust
you
you.
can trust them with it,
Exactly.
because ideally that's the goal, like to be able to just, I need this, and it's done. you
Exactly.
know but
Exactly.
yeah, that's really good. Like there are lots of struggles that is there any other struggle you go through working with
Have
people?
you ever recorded? You realize that your mic, your mic was not on. You told me.
Yes, no.
Yeah. Oh
I've even
God.
recorded with the camera not being
Equipment.
on.
Equipment can
I've recorded that the
frustrate.
camera was not on.
Ooh.
Well, let me not call it recorded, because if the
Oh,
camera was not on, nothing
exactly. You
was
did not do
recorded.
anything, sir.
I demonstrate.
Equipment can frustrate the living daylights. Like
Ah.
a production of like two, like supposed to be like within 2 hours, can just take the
Mm,
whole day because like my camera is overheating. I have to stop and start again. I have to charge. I have
mm,
to change batteries. Or
mm,
I left the house. I forgot my mememory card. Like
mm.
content creation is not
Ah,
easy.
I memory card one.
Ah,
We're going through
because
the
where are
same
you
things. So
going
take,
to?
take, 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 take.
Everybody's going through the same thing. We're all living the same lives. Gosh, it's hard. It's
mm,
hard. And then now being in Nigeria,
mm,
the lights, I live in a place where like beside me, they're
mm,
actually building a new house. So
mm.
like recording the past couple of weeks has been headache. Like
Oh, because you just be hearing hammers and stuff.
yeah,
Oh
like
gosh.
electronic equipment, like this and that.
Mm,
And it's like even when I put the mic on noise cancellation, like it still
mm.
picks up
It still
some of.
picks it. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just like so frustrated. I want to cry in the middle of my recording. I either have to
That'll be
wake up
so real.
honestly. I either have to wake up really early to
Mm,
film, or I have to like go out and find somewhere else to film because
yeah.
it's just been frustrating. So like it's just little things that spoil. I can't even say, oh, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and record. Like who?
Mm.
Because my ops might come and start Con con con. Yeah. So yeah.
Mm.
So
But
like
it's great to see because obviously when we then see your content out there, we don't see all this con. You know,
exactly. You will see.
we think everything is going fine. We don't know that
Exactly.
she's been through a lot.
Don't know that I'm weeping.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh no, that's really great. That's really great. Well, it's been a great conversation with you.
it
It's
has.
been a
Thank you.
lovely conversation with you, learning more about your struggles, finding out like the surprise. Did you people see the surprise on my face when she said she was not perfect? I was like, like, how will you not be perfect? I mean, but you know, it's great to see like in 4K. And so before we go into our games,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you're ready for the games, right?
I
I
don't
just wanted
know.
to tell our audience what to expect from you.
Okay.
Hmm. So what should they expect from you?
Like in the coming
Yeah.
months
No, in the game.
in the game,
Hmm.
I don't even know what game this is.
Ah, my bad. Okay, so it's like a Christian culture game. So it's just going to be like conversations amongst ourselves, right? So it will
Mm-hmm.
be asking questions like maybe about Bible characters and all that. So like, let's
Okay.
see how
Okay.
much you actually know.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
do you
Okay.
actually just read one script and record and post it to us
Ooh,
on
I do.
Instagram?
Well, let's
You
see.
know. But now that you actually mentioned it, before we go into the games, so what should we expect from ID coming up?
As I said, I'm not perfect, so take what you see.
Take what you see. Do you have any just for a sneak peek? Do you have any series coming up? You know, or anything you're working on? Any nice projects? A book? You know?
Personally, um, no, I might even like disappear for a couple of weeks or
Ah,
months.
ah please, oh.
Not
For
like
real.
disappear from the face of the earth, but like
Mm.
from social media.
Oh, for a while, just
Yeah.
take a healthy break.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't wait for when God to tell me to take my own break. Because right now, like, see, I just came in yesterday and
Yeah.
already we're recording this, and I have a
Yeah.
few more recordings coming up. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is,
It is what it
right?
is.
I'm sure you've been blessed by this, so feel free to watch this, rewatch it, and keep watching it.
Share it to your community members. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notification. Do everything you need to do. Smash that bell button.
Smash it, you know. And I mean, go to Idys page, show some love, you know,
Yeah.
watch it, interact with her content, right? And guess what? I remain your favorite host on this podcast, Dumajer Francis, and the lovely.
ID Archibong.
See you next time on Backed by the Word.
Bye.
Don't touch that down.